This video is brought to you by Ting. Hey, what's going on everybody, this is Ken. In this video, I'm going to be doing my comparison between the Samsung Galaxy Note 3 and the Oppo N1. The N1 is the limited CyanogenMod edition, but aside from the software, everything else is the same as the original N1. So this is going to be a detailed comparison. Of course, it's going to be a fairly long video. So without wasting any time, let's just go ahead and get started with my first category. Just like all my other comparisons, let's begin with the design and hardware. By the way, if you want to check out my unboxing of the Oppo N1, or if you want to check out my review of the Samsung Galaxy Note 3, and also I'm going to have my full review of the Oppo N1 very soon in the future. If you want to check out these videos, I will put all the links in the description. And be sure to give this video a thumbs up, I really appreciate it and really helps out the video. Alright, back to the comparison. Now these two phones of course fall in the category of phablets, a phone that has a large display like a tablet. The Samsung Galaxy Note 3 has a 5.6-inch display, and the Oppo N1 houses a 5.9-inch display. Not a huge difference in the screen size, but as you can see, this has a fairly large difference in the body size. The large bezels of the N1 resulted in a bigger form factor compared to the Note 3, and the Note 3 benefits from the tiny slim bezels all around the device, making it a smaller device overall. The Note 3 has a leather texture and it looks like leather on the back, but it's actually still polycarbonate with a texture that feels like leather and looks like leather. So basically the Note 3 looks like a well-built, high-quality device, but it's still made out of polycarbonate and fairly similar to most other Samsung devices like the Galaxy S4. The Oppo N1 has better build quality without a doubt. It is still polycarbonate matte finish on the back, but it does have inner support by a steel frame. So it's quite a bit heavier than the Note 3. On the edge of the device, you can see this chrome aluminum ring around it, which looks quite nice in my opinion. So overall, I have to say that the N1 has better build quality compared to the Note 3, but the Samsung Galaxy Note 3 does have a very light body, so it's not going to feel heavy, or it's just going to feel very light when you use it. I'm not saying that the Oppo N1 is heavy or anything, it's just that this has a bit more weight to it compared to the Note 3. So now let's just go ahead and move on to the display comparison. Now both of these have excellent displays, both 1080p HD, Super AMOLED display technology, and to be honest, I can't really tell a difference between these two in terms of the color accuracy. Both are really well balanced in terms of the saturation, contrast, and of course both have really high resolution displays. You cannot see a single pixel on it. The only obvious difference between the screen is of course the size difference, but everything else is pretty much the same. The viewing angles are excellent on both, but I did notice that the Note 3 is a little bit brighter in the highest brightness settings. So if you want to use your device in the sunlight, both are really great for viewing at a really high brightness, but I just noticed that the Note 3 can go a bit more brighter. Alright, moving on to the specs and benchmark. The Note 3 runs on the Qualcomm Snapdragon 800 quad-core 2.3 GHz Adreno 330 processor, 3GB of RAM. The built-in storage is 32GB and I believe also 64GB, and this has a micro SD card slot and you can store up to 64GB. So it's a lot of storage, so in total you can essentially have a maximum of 128GB of storage on your Note 3. On the other hand, the Oppo N1 has a slightly older processor, which is the Qualcomm Snapdragon 600 quad-core 1.7 GHz processor with the GPU of Adreno 320, and this only has the 16GB or the 32GB configuration, and it doesn't have expandable storage. The Galaxy Note 3, I forgot to mention, does have USB 3.0 port at the bottom compared to the normal USB 2.0 port on the Oppo N1. Of course, if you don't have USB 3.0 support, you can still use the normal USB 2.0 because it is backwards compatible. So clearly, the Note 3 does have higher specs compared to the N1, but to be honest, it's really hard to tell a difference if you use it day to day. Both devices run extremely quick, no lag or whatsoever. You can run intense graphic games without any dropped frame rates, and of course it'll just do fine if you run a lot of applications that use tons of processing power. Before comparing the software, cool features, battery life, and the camera, let's first take a look at the sponsor for this video. This video is brought to you by Ting. Well, what is Ting? Ting is a mobile service that makes sense. There are no contracts to sign, so you don't have to pay any early termination fees if you choose to leave. Second, you pay for what you use for. So for example, this month, if you have less minutes or less messages or less megabytes of data, your bill will actually go down, which is very nice. Ting is also very affordable. You can save a lot of money if you switch to Ting, and you can actually go to their website ting.com/calculator to calculate how much you will be saving if you switch to Ting. You can choose between a lot of different devices that they offer, so you're not going to be stuck with an outdated device for a long time. And also, you can have unlimited devices with one account. So if you are interested in switching over to Ting, or check out some of the information on this mobile service, you can go to kfhd.ting.com. And if you go to this link, you will also support my show. And not only this will support my videos, you can also save $25 off on a new device you purchase or get $20 worth of Ting credits. So be sure to check out kfhd.ting.com to support this video. Alright, moving on to the speakers. Both speakers are located at the bottom of the device, which is not a really good location for the speakers because you can easily cover it up with your hands. They have similar speaker quality. They are both really small, so they're not the best. They don't sound really good, of course, but the Note 3 does have slightly better sound quality at higher volumes. On the Oppo N1, even though it can go up to a really high, really loud volume, but at high volumes, you begin losing the clarity and everything just sounds not very good. So for the speakers, I have to give this one to the Note 3, but to be honest, both speakers are not very good. Now let's move on to the software comparison. Both of them are running on Android 4.3, not Android 4.4 yet. Hopefully it will have an update very soon. But on my Note 3, it's running on the TouchWiz skin when you first purchase it. But I do have a few icon packs, or the icon pack I'm using right now is called Terses, and I'm using the launcher, which is called Nova Launcher. On the other side, my Oppo N1 actually is the first Google certified CyanogenMod phone. So this is of course running on CyanogenMod. Basically, this is stock Android with a bunch of additional features, and in the settings you can further customize your device to the way you want, and you get a bunch of advanced settings. For example, you can change your home page, your animation transitions, your speed. You can change your lock screen, your dock. So if you do have the choice of buying the Oppo N1 limited edition, I do suggest you buying the CyanogenMod edition over the original Oppo N1, which is running on the Color OS, which is a skin from Oppo. And I have to say that the CyanogenMod is way better than pretty much all other skins from different phone companies. Alright, moving on to the cool features of these two phones, which is my favorite segment of this comparison. Of course, on my Oppo N1 there are a few gimmicky features such as that rotating camera. Oh, a lot of people are asking me if this is 360-degree rotating camera. It's actually 206 degrees, so it's not, of course, it's not 360 degree. But the rotating camera, it's quite useful, I have to say. So the back-facing high-quality 13 megapixel camera can rotate to the front, and you can take selfies, self-portraits, or do Skype chats or video chats with a high-quality camera. Another feature that I find quite interesting is the touch-sensitive area on the back of the N1. This is what they call the old touch area, and you can actually use this area to control your screen, so you can swipe through pages without actually touching the screen on the front. On the Samsung Galaxy Note 3, of course, the cool feature here is the S Pen. I find it quite useful for taking notes. If you're a student like myself, it's really easy to take notes using action memo and different ways to easily, conveniently take notes. Now let's move on to the battery life. The battery life on the Oppo N1 is quite amazing. It has a very large battery capacity. This has a 3610 mAh battery inside. Unfortunately, this is not removable. And according to my experience, I can use it easily up to 2 days, 2 full days, which is quite amazing. On my Nexus 5 or my iPhone 5S, I can barely use it through 1 day. But for this, I can use it through 2 days. Same thing with the Galaxy Note 3. This has a slightly smaller battery capacity of 3200 mAh, which is still a very good battery, and it's going to have a very long battery life similar to the N1. But the N1 of course has longer battery life because it does have higher battery capacity. Alright, now let's move on to the camera comparison. So first let's take a look at the camera software between these two phones. On the Samsung Galaxy Note 3, you get the Samsung camera interface. On the camera, you can record slow motion videos or fast motion, which records in a high frame rate. You can also record in 4K, which is quite amazing. So you can record in a really high resolution in terms of the video, and it does have 13 megapixels, which is a pretty high quality camera for taking pictures. So on my Oppo N1, this is running on using the Android camera. It's pretty close to the stock Android camera. It's easy to access all the camera settings by just holding on to the screen and choosing between each option. And you can of course record 1080p HD videos, and this also has a 13 megapixel camera. So here are just some of the pictures I took using the Galaxy Note 3, and these are all HDR photos I took a few months ago in my comparison between the iPhone 5S camera. Anyways, here are some more comparison between the Oppo N1 camera and the Note 3. In my opinion, the Samsung Galaxy Note 3 seems to have a better camera in terms of the quality and in low light situations. But in the Oppo N1, you can have the option to record or shoot photos in slow shutter speed, which I did use, but it still turned out not very good with a lot of noise. Anyways, here's a video comparison. Pretty much the same, I have to say. I can't really tell a difference. So both really great for recording videos, but of course the Note 3 can record 4K videos. So this basically concludes my full comparison, detailed comparison between the Samsung Galaxy Note 3 and the Oppo N1. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you made it this far to the video, because I will be having more videos in the future, of course, of different phone comparisons and other phone reviews. So be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for watching this video, and hope you have a great day. I will see you in my next video.